Behind the mahogany bench, his face unreadable, voice cold as the marble pillars framing the courtroom. "Representative Jasmine Crockett," he said, no hesitation. "You've defied this court's orders. Repeatedly. This body is authorized to fine you $500 million. Silence hit the courtroom like a hammer. Reporters froze mid-keystroke. Attorneys exchanged glances, not in shock, but disbelief. $500 million. It wasn't punishment. It was an execution order wrapped in legalese. Jasmine didn't blink. No flinch, just stillness. Then she rose, calm, calculated, her gaze fixed on the man who had tried to silence her with a gavel. "Are you finished?" she asked. Murmurs. A gasp. Thomas leaned forward. "Excuse me?" I said. "Are you finished, sir?" "Because I am." She pulled a folder from her blazer. Yellow tab. One copy. Walked it to the clerk like it was a library return. "Please enter that into the record." "What is this?" the clerk stammered. "Facts," she replied. "Sworn depositions, tax records, internal emails, all dated." Judge Thomas squinted. "Miss Crockett." "Congresswoman," she corrected. "Respectfully, those documents show you hold financial interests in 3 of the 4 private entities that lobbied for this fine." The air shifted. A reporter dropped a tablet. A man stood up, then sat back down like gravity had caught him. "That's absurd. It's math. Simple connections. You should have recused yourself, but you didn't. Now we know why." Thomas clenched his gavel. "This is a smear tactic. You're deflecting." "No," she said. "I'm revealing. This isn't about me. It's about how power hides behind robes and silence." She didn't stop. "3 months ago, you dined with Willcraft Holdings executives. 2 weeks. Later, a memo circulated targeting me. The language matches your opinion." Gavel slam. "Silence." "The silence is over," she said. "You weaponized this courtroom, but I don't scare easy." A court officer moved. Another judge whispered. Thomas shook. His head. "This court will recess." "No, this court will answer." She turned to the gallery. "If you've ever been told to shut up and accept it, pay attention. This isn't about me. It's about what happens when someone refuses to bow." A man stood. Then a woman. A wave of quiet solidarity. Jasmine turned back to the bench. "You want to fine me $500 million to make an example? Here's mine. Never walk into a room where the rules are written to silence you. Rewrite the rules." Thomas opened his mouth. But the clerk stood up. "Your Honor, I've reviewed the documents. They're legitimate, detailed. These allegations can't be ignored." Another judge picked up the bench phone. Thomas's composure cracked. "This court will recess for 5 minutes." He turned, but Jasmine stopped him. "One more thing. That file, it's already been sent to the Ethics Committee, 3 federal agencies, and every major news outlet. I didn't come here to defend myself. I came for every voice you silenced." Thomas froze. Then the door clicked open. He walked out. Cameras flashed. Protesters gathered. Members of Congress slipped through side doors to observe. Inside, Jasmine watched from a second-floor window. "How many cameras?" her staffer asked. "Doesn't matter," she said. "This isn't about the lens. It's about the record." 15 minutes later, the judges returned. Not all. Thomas's seat was empty. "We reconvene," the senior judge said. "Representative Crockett submitted new material. We have questions." The shift was felt. Jasmine was no longer on trial. The prosecutor stepped up. "Given the conflict of interest, we recommend suspending the financial penalty pending independent review." Jasmine nodded. No surprise. "Thank you, Your Honor. I trust clean processes." The prosecutor attempted damage control. "That doesn't dismiss the charges against—" She interrupted. "The charges were drafted with language from firms tied to Thomas. That's not a theory. That's a chain of custody." "Would you provide full access to the data?" a judge asked. "Check the court's inbox. Secure link provided," the clerk confirmed. "All materials verified." Timestamps match. Jasmine remained standing. Let the record show. I didn't come for pity. Power unchecked becomes infection. You don't whisper about infection. You expose it. The judge nodded. We suspend the ruling pending full review. Then the doors opened. Thomas re-entered. No robe, just a suit. He walked to the counsel table. Justice Thomas, this court is in session, the judge said. I'm aware. He turned to Jasmine. This is a misunderstanding. She didn't flinch. No, this is a system, and it's not built for people like me, but I fought. He softened. This will hurt your reputation. You declared war on a justice. No, she said. I reminded you power is rented, and the people are landlords. The gallery stood, not choreographed, just aligned. Thomas turned and left. Jasmine sat. No smile, just breath. This court enters temporary dismissal, the judge said. She nodded. Cameras zoomed in on her steady hands. No tremble, no performance. She came for the shift. Outside, chants rose. Power, truth, people. Jasmine walked out the front doors, unescorted. Not guarded, followed. CNN broke it first. The Crockett Files. The file was already live. Public server. Sourced back to a congressional domain. Headlines roared, "Did Thomas break recusal law?" The 500-mammoter find that backfired. Crockett versus court, and she's winning. No tweet, no interviews. But by 9 a.m., her office steps were swarmed with press. She said one thing: let the process finish before you start building documentaries. Across D.C., panic. The Supreme Court's press team scrambled. Clerks reviewed filings. PR issued denials. A memo leaked. We underestimated her. This wasn't defense. This was strategy. Justice Thomas canceled everything. Ghosted everyone. The ethics committee didn't wait. Opened a formal inquiry. The Crockett materials will be central to this investigation. Cable news whispered the phrase like gospel. Even the White House press secretary didn't deny it. We believe in accountability. In a closed-door hearing, Jasmine walked in. Heads turned. That's her, someone whispered. The one who took out Thomas. She turned. I didn't take him out. He walked into his own mess. I just brought the receipts. No rebuttal, no noise, just shift. She hadn't defended. She exposed. Fox News. You don't have to like her politics, but you better respect how she played this. Thomas's allies splintered. One deleted tweet. That fine was never going to stick. Memes exploded. Thomas slamming a gavel. Jasmine passing a file. Caption, noise versus proof. A viral TikTok showed chess pieces. Jasmine sliding a queen. 12.8 M views. Still, no celebration. Her staff asked, interviews? The story's still unfolding. Then came the envelope. Secure inbox. Unmarked. One PDF. Confidential mediation proposal. Withdraw the records request, and the fine vanishes. Plus 10 millers to her district. She read it twice. Forwarded to the Office of Congressional Ethics. No leak, just protocol. Hours later, the firm that sent it denied involvement, then wiped their site. Back in court, the bench changed. A new judge froze. All actions tied to Crockett's case. Requested affidavits. One came back. A former board member flipped. We were told Crockett was a threat to the status quo. Memo came from higher. The DOJ issued a letter of interest. Suddenly, senators were tweeting vague statements about integrity. Donors froze contributions. A Supreme Court ruling questioned in real time, not by pundits, by Congress. Jasmine entered a university auditorium. 700 students. She said, power protects itself. Until someone walks in and says, not today. That's what I did, and I'm not done. She wasn't bluffing. 2 days later, she filed a request to subpoena Thomas's sealed comms with 3 energy execs. Opposition roared, vendetta! The public disagreed. 72% believed she exposed corruption. That night, An envelope outside her door. No name, no return address. 5 words. Keep going. We got you. Inside, a flash drive, encrypted. When decrypted, the file wasn't just data, it was a blueprint of betrayal. Dates, bank transfers, flights, private meetings, all connecting Justice Clarence Thomas to a luxury real estate mogul whose company had just won a heated zoning dispute. Thomas had written the majority opinion. Coincidence? Not anymore. The web wasn't just connecting, it was drawing a bullseye. Jasmine Crockett didn't flinch. No theatrics, no frills, just 10 minutes. A press conference with no Q&A. She stepped to the mic in a Navy suit, held up the napkin that cracked the case and said, "I didn't come for the court. I came for clarity. Every time they bury us in numbers, we'll respond with names. This isn't a headline. It's a cleanup. I'm done asking the system to fix itself. I'm telling it, time's up." By the time she stepped off the podium, Twitter had detonated. Napkin note. Crockett cleanup. Your time, eyes up. Cable news anchors ditched their scripts. One pundit admitted, "We thought she was just defending herself. We didn't realize she was laying the groundwork for something seismic." Back inside the Supreme Court chambers, the unthinkable happened. Justice Clarence Thomas was advised, "You may want to consider early retirement before this becomes permanent." At 6 a.m., a message hit the court's website. Plain type, no fanfare. Justice Clarence Thomas acknowledges public concern around financial conflicts. While maintaining innocence, he will temporarily recuse himself from active rulings pending an ethics review. It wasn't an admission. It wasn't guilt. But it was loud. He blinked. For the first time in 30 years, Clarence Thomas stepped back. Not voluntarily, but tactically. And the public didn't buy the spin. CNN. Why now? MSNBC. Crockett cornered him. By noon, Congress announced a hearing. Accountability in the highest court, financial ethics and judicial power. Jasmine Crockett was the lead witness. One senator objected. "She's too emotionally involved." A senior colleague shot back, "She's not emotional, she's effective." Inside her office, the mood had shifted. This wasn't about defense anymore. It was an execution plan. "What do you want to lead with?" her counsel asked. "Pattern." "You mean the donations?" "No," she said. "The disregard. Show how long they've been betting on silence." This wasn't about one judge. This was about all of it. Shadow firms, ghost donors, vacations, disguised as speeches. It was systemic. Jasmine showed up to the hearing in black. No speechwriters. Just fire and receipts. First question, when did you realize this was bigger than the fine? Her answer, the moment they said $500 million. That's not punishment. That's a threat. And your response? Exposure. They threw a gavel. I held up a mirror. Gasps. Scribbled notes. Then came the smear attempt. Isn't it true this chaos benefited you politically? She didn't blink. I didn't create the chaos. I revealed it. Do you think this hurts the court's credibility? It's already hurt. The question is whether we disinfect it or let it rot. Next attempt. This is a vendetta. No, she replied. This is a public audit. And if Justice Thomas is cleared, then he should return. But no one is immune to evidence, and no one should be immune to accountability. By the time she walked out, 2 subpoenas had been issued. A whisper from the crowd. They're scared of you. Her reply? They should be scared of what silence costs. I just refused the bill. At 2:34 a.m., the internet caught fire. A grainy, 47-second audio file leaked anonymously, Clarence Thomas's voice. She thinks this is about her. Let her. Run wild. We drown her in noise before anyone hears the facts. Another voice. The fine is bait. Hit her hard. Make her look greedy. Watch her cave. Laughter. Then silence. The voice print matched. Verified. Untouched. No edits. Cable news imploded. This wasn't about law. It was a trap, and Jasmine didn't fall for it. She flipped it. The next morning, Congress declared an emergency session. Judicial. Watch called for full disclosure of internal court communications. Politico, CNN, BBC, all begged Jasmine for comment. Her reply, let them wait. Because what no one knew? She had the full tape. 61 minutes. High definition. 3 voices. Strategy, manipulation, corruption. Her chief of staff, drop it? Not yet, she said. Let them double down. Then we detonate. And they did. Thomas released a panicked statement. The clip is misleading. Retaliatory. Taken out of context. Wrong move. By noon, a third voice on the tape was identified. A lobbyist with ties to pending court cases. A week later, Jasmine stepped into a press room overflowing with reporters. No script, just this. You've heard the teaser. I have the episode. And guess what? There's more than 2 voices. This wasn't about me. This was about sending a message. Speak too loudly and they'll bury you. I won't release the full tape yet. They have 48 hours, not to confess to me, to confess to the people, or I will. Tick-tock. The countdown trended worldwide. Thomas released another statement. Weak, defensive, too late. Hours later, Jasmine released it all. Her minutes. 3 voices. 1 mission, discredit, destroy, delay, and drain. Thomas. She's too clean to smear, so we weaponized the process. By morning, 5 congressional leaders held a press conference. This is judicial sabotage. A House vote followed. 387 to 48. Justice Clarence Thomas suspended indefinitely pending full criminal review. No resignation, no ceremony, just a black car, a sealed envelope, a single sentence. I request immediate administrative leave. Indefinite duration. Jasmine didn't gloat. No victory laps. She met with whistleblowers, drafted legislation, new laws, new rules, mandatory quarterly disclosures, public financial ledgers, independent judicial oversight. They called it the Judicial Transparency Package. America called it the Crockett Clause. Social media crowned her. The archives honored her. Her framed $500 million penalty now hangs in a gallery labeled silenced. Not this time. Her final floor speech. If they come for you with power, answer with proof. That's what I did. No mic drop, no swagger. Just justice, served cold. She didn't just hold them accountable. She made the system remember who it answers to.